When I had a heart attack, everything changed. I got a second chance. And before I die, I want to see everything, do everything.
Take them.
And eat everything I can. We got some bacon and some elk stew. You guys sing when you cook? The adventure begins in Newfoundland.
The only meat they eat is meat that they kill themselves.
We're gonna go to Fort Erie. Patricia, my wife. We brought stinky fish. Winnipeg, I can't catch.
I can pull out my book of excuses and give you a dozen of them.
I'm about to show you the Alberta you've never seen. You hear that? Some moose calls. Yeah. It kind of sounds like someone after they barfed a lot and they're just kind of moaning. Yeah.
Oh.
What am I doing wrong? This is the best show in the world. You're welcome. You know the CBC? Those guys are losers. This is on Vice.
What's up, you guys? We got Matty. Woo!
What's up?
So we're gonna chat for about 20 minutes, and then we'll take questions from you guys. And I have a whole bunch of questions as well. So just to start, Matty, tell me, what are your earliest food memories? When you think back, what are the parts of your childhood that related to food that are the best?
My grandfather had a restaurant called the Blue Goose in PEI, Prince Edward Island.
Yeah.
And when we were kids, we lived in Nova Scotia, so we would drive up like 4 hours. And we'd go to his restaurant, and the part of his restaurant, he had like a soda pop shop, so we could sleep in the booths because he lived in the back in a one-bedroom apartment.
Yep.
And just like sleeping in the restaurant, it was almost like, you know, like Night of the Museum. Like it's closed, and like we would like kind of wander around as kids, me and my brothers and my sister, and that was kind of the beginning of being in a restaurant and like seeing, like we weren't ever allowed in the kitchen, and you know, just looking. We would open the door. It was like a swing door into his apartment. Like this, like he kind of drank a lot and stuff, and so it was like a smelly, weird one-bedroom apartment for like an old dude.
Right.
And so like we would open the door and like see the kitchen and see it. It was a really busy restaurant, so it was like just like the hustle and bustle and all that kind of shit. And then like seeing, he would always take us like clam digging and like getting oysters and mussels and like all that kind of like maritime kind of vibe shit.
Yep. Is there a Canadian, I mean, in America, we think of American comfort food, this sort of American way of doing food. What is it in Canada?
I think it's very much like seafood driven.
Uh-huh.
Like in the, like if you take like the Maritimes, it's, you know, like chowders and like pumpernickel bread or molasses bread or corn chowder or stuff like that, or just seafood, or in kind of just like stews and stuff.
Yeah.
I think, you know, like or like you can go back to, yeah. I think that's kind of it. On the West Coast, it's very like seafood driven,
right,
in BC and stuff like that. And then in the prairies, it's kind of like mirrors the U.S. So it's like you got like North Dakota is kind of like Alberta, you know, and so you got like lots of cattle stuff. But like it's, like we don't have like soul food. Like every time I go to the South, I'm always like, oh, I can't wait to have like grits and like stuff like that, or like boudin or stuff like that, where it's like we don't have soul food. Like it's not a part of whatever happened in Canada, like the culinary world. Like we never had that kind of like cheap, really amazing food. Like Waffle House, I love Waffle House. No?
Yeah.
Shout out to Waffle House.
Right. So from that moment then, being in your grandpa's restaurant then, when did you decide that you wanted food to be what you did? And how did that happen?
I applied to 4 different colleges. I got accepted to one. I went to that school, and it ended up being like culinary school. Like I was like, I'm gonna be a chef. Like somebody's like, I'm gonna be a firefighter or something like that. Like it didn't happen like that. I you know, had like all I did was try to get like 50% in school my entire life. And then I was just like sick. I passed, and now I have to go to college. And I only wanted to go to college to go to a city.
Right.
Like I grew up in a 16,000 person town. And so then I went to Toronto and went to Humber and I even dropped out of college the last 2 weeks of my program to go on tour with like a punk band. And then when I got back from that tour, I got a job at Le Select Bistro,
Right.
which was the best. It's still today like the best. It would be like working at, I don't know, like Baltazar or something like that.
Right.
So it's like the best bistro in Toronto.
So then you sort of fell into it, but was there a moment then when you started working there that you thought, okay, this...
There's that pivotal moment kind of thing when I was like, when we were just about to open a restaurant called Oddfellows 8 years ago when I was 26. I had the opportunity of opening a restaurant.
Right.
And so Brian and Key, they're the owners and amazing designers. And there was a tour with all of my friends, like all my best friends' bands.
Okay.
We're gonna tour across Canada. And it was a month, like a full month tour. And I was like, why don't we just open the restaurant in like 1 more month? We've been building this restaurant. Why don't you take a vacation? Right. They're like, we need fucking money. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Like some 26-year-old fucking punk. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, it was just pretty funny.
Yeah.
And should I not be swearing?
No.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah,
okay. And Brian, he kind of sat me down and was like, do you want to be a chef or do you want to be like a roadie, whatever the fuck you do, whatever you do kind of guy? And I was like, well, I want to be a chef. And he's like, well, then here's a fucking restaurant and let's open it and let's go.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where I was like, okay. And then I chose, to stop kind of like fucking around with like kind of like fucking around being like, oh, I'm going to work for 3 months and then I'm going to take off for a month and then I'm going to like hang out for 2 months and then I'm going to go somewhere else. And I was just like, no, I want to be a chef. I want to like start working hard and like getting things.
Yeah. One of my favorite moments in one of your videos, you're making a lemon meringue pie.
Oh, yeah.
I think it sort of epitomizes you because you're talking about like this technical French dough that you're going to make.
Yeah.
But then you're talking about like how you have to be a crackhead to use the
thumbs.
Crackheads
have strong thumbs. Anybody smoke crack in here?
And I think it just like epitomizes you because, you do have this mix of like high and low.
Yeah.
So is that something that just happened organically or?
It's the way I talk.
Yeah, but like for your approach to food though, in general, like how did you get to that point with food where you were like, I'm going to talk about crackheads too, but I'm also going to really know what I'm talking about when I'm making it?
I think I know crackheads really well, and I know, and I think I think it's natural.
Yeah.
And I think when everything happened really organically. Like when we made that burger video, the first one, it was very like, let's make a burger video. And I was like, okay, come in my apartment and set up a camera. And I was like, okay, here's a burger. And I did it. Like I was just like, and I try to explain things just like who knows what a pâté brisé is? It's dough.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, cool. Like it's just like, why the fuck do you need to know what pâté brisé is?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's cool. If you want to figure that stuff out on your own, then that's cool. But it's like, it's dough. Or, it's like, it's just easier for me to talk beyond layman's terms and just talk in like my voice. And people do, and I find people will understand what I'm saying without even complicating it. And you can make a joke about something like using crackhead thumbs with their little burners to brulee the meringue.
Yeah. It's interesting to me though.
You know what brulee is? One head nod. Perfect.
But that goes to the point, I think, lately, like, with the Food Network, and there's all these ways now to find out about food.
Network's whack.
Tell me, what do you think about the Food Network? I was going to ask you about it.
I think there's amazing chefs on there.
Okay.
But I think that their programming is dull. I think it's what's wrong with our world.
Okay.
Everything isn't perfect.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't taste the best in the world.
Right.
Everything isn't, it's fucking tarragon.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just tarragon, dog. This isn't changing, it's not changing your life.
Right.
And stop acting like it is.
Or you think about like Sandra Lee with her like tablescapes and you know what I mean?
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, she's kind of like a Stepford wife who like, makes things using cake mix.
Yeah, and the one person I do love though is the Ina Grattan. Garten?
Barefoot Contessa.
Barefoot Contessa. I love it. Just like super rich white woman in her house barefoot, and she's just like killing it. And her husband works at like the White House or some shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, our rich friends are coming over again. I'm going to make this most like it's such a kick in the teeth to like most of America.
It's kind of amazing too because she's married, but he's only there on the weekends. So the rest of the time she's hanging out with her gay friends and like
And
yeah,
she's just like giving him like a scotch, and he's just like, thank you. Yeah. Just like this little squirrely dude.
Yeah.
He's cool.
But I wonder what you think about just the idea that like food is supposed to be for everyone versus this idea that like, no, you have to go to school, you need to learn these things.
Well, I think in the restaurant industry, it's a place for outsiders. I really think that it's a really safe, unsafe place for people that don't have educations, people that just want to work hard, people that just want to learn. Like, you can go without school. Like, a lot of people ask me, like, I'm going to go to cooking school because of you. I'm like, just try to get a job at a really good restaurant.
Right.
And work your way up and take your time. And people often are like, I want to become a chef. I'm like, you're 35.
Yeah.
No, you don't, dude. Like, you need to stay home and keep that job.
Right.
You want to be making $12 an hour, working 15-hour days, and getting like yelled at? Like,
Because I think people don't understand the reality of it either. They see these shows and they think they're going to be a celebrity.
If you want to become a chef because of me, that's fucked up.
Right.
You know, like in the real sense, like what I do is not a representation, good or real representation of what our industry is. It's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a joke. It's just me cooking in my house for people on the internet.
Right.
And it's like, I don't think it's disrespectful to the industry, but it's not a good representation of what it is. Like, I've worked really hard. My chefs at my restaurants work very hard.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And everyone in the industry works very hard.
Yeah.
So, like, people that are like, I want to become a chef, it's like, I'd think about that, my dude.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like starting over any career path is difficult. And to start a career path where you make minimum wage,
Right.
or I don't know what minimum wage is here, but in Canada it's like $13.50.
Yeah.
And DT takes over, you guys are gonna be all fucked up.
Right. Let's
not go there.
Yeah.
Sad times.
It is.
Clouds are rolling in.
Very dark.
Shame on you, America.
Well,
Shame to even let this happen.
We'll be coming to Canada.
Yeah, let's get it.
I'll be there.
Our dude does yoga and like sprints and stuff. He's cool.
And he's also really hot.
He's beautiful.
Yeah.
He's gorgeous. His abs are incredible.
I know. Anyways, back to you. But so let's talk about Vice then in your show and how that differs from the Food Network. How did you get the show? How much input do you have? How much do you have people telling you, do it this way, don't do it that way?
With Vice Land and Vice, they are very much make the television show. And I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? And they're like, make a television show.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I've never made one. How do I do that? I need like titles. Like, it's not like that, but it's like everyone on the team is, working hard and being creative and pushing barriers because we don't even know what the starting point is.
Right.
Like, we don't know. We're outside of the box, and like we've watched television, but like my main producer, like John.
Yeah.
I'm the first show he's ever produced, and like we're buddies, and like we know each other from like he was in an awesome punk band called Teen Anger, and like we know each other from that. And he's worked with Vice for a long time, but it's like, and we've gradually built like everything's organic.
Yeah.
With me, I can only speak on like my show,
right.
Really, like, but like we're all kind of like, my one camera guy, he's just like a skateboarder who used to do skate videos, you know, and he's amazing. Shout out to Tort's the man. And I don't know, like it's like we got cameras and a host, and we can get something.
Right.
And we're like I hate the first few episodes.
Really?
Yeah, because it's weird watching it. I made them like a year, not a long time, but like a year ago.
Yeah.
And where I'm at, and how I make television, how I can like speak in front of people, like it's I've grown a lot, and watching that stuff is like. People like it's getting positive like reviews and stuff like that, but it's still like I watch it, I'm like, fuck, I don't know what the fuck I was doing, and like that was so stupid. Why would I say that?
Right.
And I'm like, but it's funny, and I'm very like I put a lot of pressure on myself because I want like long game, I think I want to open up a lot of restaurants and make TV for a long time because making TV is fun as fuck.
Yeah, I mean
because it's like we get to like what's the hardest points being like, where do you want to go? And I'm like, Sri Lanka.
Right.
And they're like, let's get it. You know, like that's kind of the thing. And then we're just like, the hardest part is being like, okay, we need to group things in the world so we can go shoot like 2 or 3 episodes in that part of the world. And we're like, okay, let's go to Iceland and Greenland and Sweden. Right. Cool, but what's there? Yeah. And then that's the hard part where it's like, okay, how do we come up with these ideas and how do we find these people and kind of get engaged and find something that I actually care about? Because if I don't care about it, I won't care about it. Like I can't act, I'm a very bad actor.
Right.
I've tried to do that once and it was dark.
But I think that's why people love it so much is because you aren't, it's genuine. We were talking earlier about how Vice is very genuine. You can say what you want about it, but
you can say whatever you want, but those everyone backs us on making, not crap, but making what we want to make. Yeah. And they're just like I'll ask for literally criticism. Yep. And they'll just be like, keep doing what you're doing. Right. I'm like, that doesn't help. But it does help because I'm making the I'm making the show and I'm learning how to do things. I'm like when I have to do stuff I'm very out of shape. Mm-hmm. And so when I have to go hunting in Newfoundland 2 kilometers in through bog and bush and mountain and all this stuff, that's crazy. And then I have to get there. Then we have to hunt for a moose. Right. I'm like, why did I want to go hunting for a moose? Yeah. And then we shoot a moose and we have to field dress it and then carry a moose out of the woods. I'm like, this is nuts. Right. I'm holding its beating heart and I'm like, this is so beautiful and amazing and crazy and we're gonna treat this animal after we killed it, treat it with the most respect we can. Right. And that kind of stuff is awesome. But every time we're making a new show, we learn and we work harder and our camera dudes are learning and our producers are learning and our showrunners learn. We're about learning from our mistakes and not making them we're not trying to make mistakes, but it's we're picking ourselves apart,
I think that makes for great TV too.
I think TV, what is TV now?
I know, exactly.
What TV's nuts, swamp people and all this made up bullshit that's fake. Yeah. And it's why do you want to waste your time? Why don't you go down and hang out with some real ass swamp people? Right. Or the Duck Dynasty, go get out of here with those dudes. Yeah. Totally. Those good guys can fly a kite, man. Yep. Not cool dudes.
No, not
Republicans. Ew.
You were talking about the long game a minute ago. Yeah. You said, you feel some pressure. This is a quote from the Toronto Life. They said about Dead Set on Life. They said, if all goes according to plan, you'll be our country's most successful culinary export since pea meal bacon, our most adored jolly fat man since John Candy, and our most charismatic charmer not named Trudeau. Yeah. Is that a lot of pressure for you to hear someone say that and to know that there's so many people banking on your career, not just you?
I don't know. I can't think of it like that.
You don't think about it like that?
Nah, man. I'm just doing my thing. Yeah. I'm really I can't live life by other people's words or what they say, good or bad. Right. Because it's just I just got to stay in my lane and do what I'm doing, and it's working out so far. Yeah. And that's the thing where it's I just kind of have blinders on a little bit, and all my friends are just my wife especially. She's just what the fuck are you doing with your life? Right. She's why do these people want a photo with you? Right. She gets it, but she's just we're just trying to get coffee, and some dude's trying to buy us coffee, and I'm like, it's good, my dude. Yeah. I can buy myself a coffee. You don't need to buy me and my wife a coffee. Right. And then I'm like, okay, you can buy a coffee. But it's I don't know. I think I just need those names, Courtney, who wrote that article, is it was cool. I was so nervous because that article is a really large article in our biggest magazine.
It's great. It's really great.
And I told her my entire story, and I was very vulnerable with her, and I let her really in.
And she's very honest too.
She is really honest, and I was so scared after. I was like, why the fuck did I tell her that story about that guy pissing on me in front of the restaurant? And I'm like, that was crazy. I've done a lot of crazy shit. Anybody been peed on in public? Weird situation. But I just said this on AOL, whatever. Right. God bless. But it really comes down to if I'm honest, I've never hurt anyone, so I'm just I'm cool, man, and I'll put myself out there. And then Courtney writes that thing, and she says that I think it was cooler about John Candy than Trudeau. Right. You guys don't really, John Candy? Oh yeah. Big fat guy, died. He's cool. Owned the Legend. Argonauts. He's a cool dude. Yeah. Great outdoors, great film. Woo!
We have time for one more question. But speaking of your fans, you also said to Bon Appetit that you answer every single direct message you get.
Not anymore.
Okay,
It blew up.
I
It
was
blew
gonna
up.
say, that's pretty impressive.
Not anymore.
But when you get fan mail, what do fans usually say to you? What do they want to know? What are they asking?
A lot of stuff. The coolest thing, and what I said in that Bon Appetit thing, was body image stuff.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of I don't know. I'm fat. I'm overweight. I'm obese by the world, you know. And I have a lot of high school kids, female, male, just being like, it's amazing how you're putting yourself out there, and healthy is so on trend right now, and everything is about fucking CrossFit and this fucking shit, and I'm like, ugh. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's for you. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm a piece of shit because I don't want to lift things 1,000 times and do 1,000 burpees, and I'm human garbage.
Yeah.
I'm just living my life.
Right.
And I think that comes maybe across, but I just get stoked when people are like, yo, thank you, and stuff like that, or people ask me a lot of cooking questions that are hilarious, and I'm just like, do this. What you're talking about is crazy.
Right.
And I think a lot of gay guys, a lot of gay dudes out there want to see my dick, which is cool, you know. A lot of dudes in Brazil are hungry for Matty.
Right.
Thirsty.
But I'm assuming that you don't send dick pics.
I don't, but I always reply, not gay dog, but a positive thing.
Yeah,
yeah. That's cool.
Right.
But not gay, that's cool. And my wife's always like, I'll show her, and she's like, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
She's like, you're.
That is, to be honest, that's how us gay guys just say hello.
Yeah.
We're do you have a
see your
dick
dick?
pic?
Do you have a pic?
Yeah.
Do you have a penis? Can I see it?
It's a compliment. Yeah.
Can I just hold it?
Right.
Flaccid hold.
That concludes the question part. Now we'll take some from the audience.
How's it going, man?
It's well going.
Good. You said that you hate your own food. So
Most chefs, yeah.
is it ever weird for you to get compliments on your food, or does that?
Yeah,
ever
an
happen?
instant compliment's tough. Compliments are tough all the time. It's you're the best, and you're like, okay. And it's just when people, it's just, I'm happy when people are happy eating the food. I'm stoked that our restaurants are busy and everything's going well, and it's, people don't come back if the food's shit, you know. And I think that's a really big part of how good my team is, and I think just they're cooking food that's tasty, and then that's great, you know. But compliments, I'll hate stuff on my menu because you see it every day, and you're just you're cooking, and you're like, I hate that dish. Why did I do that? And then people are having, they're like, this is amazing. You're like, okay, I hate it still, but it's you're the fucking best. It's weird. You're like, okay, it's just weird. Compliments are weird. Compliments, you can be like, thank you very much. And then you're like, I feel like an asshole even saying that. Being polite, you still feel like an asshole. I don't know. Does that, no? It's garbage. Garbage answer. Bam. Another question?
Yes, hello. I actually have two questions.
Okay,
My
two.
first one is, since you travel to a lot of places and eat a lot of different foods, how would you say culture affects food and food affects culture? And also, since you say you hate the Food Channel, if you were the president of the Food Channel, how would you revamp it and make it better?
Ooh.
Cool. The food culture stuff. I haven't been to too many places. My show's mostly based in Canada, but I've recently got to go to Vietnam, and I think that, first of all, I hate their small little plastic chairs. That was tough. The way that they eat in Vietnam is insane because the chairs are small, and it's not big for a big guy, so that's a cultural thing that I don't like. But I recently had something that I've never had ever in my life. We just covered Carabana in Toronto, and I had a Trinidad salt fish and bake that, shout out to Trinidad. You make beautiful food. And I think it's, I don't know, the culture of the food is I love the bake. See, the one thing that I've kind of seen is when we did an episode in the Powwow, and they make bannock, which is just fry bread. They make a basic bread with a dry active yeast. It's flour, water, a little bit of oil, and they make a dough. They let it rise, they hit it down. They let it rise, they hit it down. Then they take little balls, make almost donuts. And then in Trinidad, they make bake, which is the exact same thing. and seeing different kind of cultures that have that basic necessity of bread, and seeing that kind of really cool thing that's just like flour, oil, a little bit of yeast, and it's feeding like everyone. And I love that kind of thing where people are trying to feed the community. And Bake Queen, Camille, who's Trini, she makes everything for like Caravana in her house, and just seeing her and her husband Alex kind of just making food, and there's all these kind of almost like roti and bake kind of trap houses throughout Toronto during Caravana, and just seeing the community come together. They're not coming from big companies or anything like that. They're a bunch of women making food in their apartments to feed thousands of people. And I think like that kind of stuff is really cool. I don't know too much. Is that, yeah, garbage. Another garbage answer.
And what about taking over the Food Network?
Taking over the Food Network. I don't know. Who cares? I don't know. Like I'm on a network right now. Like I don't need to talk about Food Network. I'm on Viceland. And I think like we're making television that's interesting. Love it or hate it. We're like, why does some 50-year-old white guy have to be the one that's in Syria? Why can't it be a kid? And it's just like his perspective, still his perspective. May not be educated, like as fucking educated, but he's still there having a perspective, which is important. And I think us kids, well, I'm 34, but like people, young people need to be involved.
Yeah, they want to hear real stories too.
Yeah, and I think like that's it. Like we can run this shit. That's cool. Old white dudes, get out of here. Like you guys making your decisions, and you got a bunch of suits and being like, what's the best food show? We need to get this, and this needs to be like this, and it's like next food TV show, like star. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I need to be a star. Like, it's just like, it's such a weird thing. Like,
it's so manufactured. Yeah. There's no authenticity to it.
Nah, it's all scripted bullcrap. Like producers fucking with you, or like, like take his cilantro away. Oh man, I'm. And it's like, get out of here, man. Like, just watch some. Like, it's just like I have people that love my show and I have people that hate it, and they're like, fucking die, you piece of shit. And I'm just like, respect. Like, if you're in the middle of the road, like, then you're fucking garbage. So I'd rather have somebody be like, I fucking hate you. Right. I want to kill you. And I'm like, shout out to all the vegans. Vegans hate me. And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just showing my life. I'm not fucking with you.
Yep.
And yo, vegans, chill out, dogs.
The other thing I'll say really quickly is that I love about you is that you're not also telling people what to do with their lives either. I think on the Food Network, it's like prescribing a way to do this thing perfectly, like you said. Yeah. And you're like, this is how I do it. Like, experience that with me. Take away with it what you want.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm the people's people. Yeah. I just want people to have fun. Yeah. I just want people to live and like have like people gotta live. People gotta be happy. There's too much garbage in the world. And if you can like learn how to make something that I make or that anyone makes and literally serve it with your friends and hang out, that's tight. And like that's the shit. Like that's awesome. That's what like we need to start like cooking for each other and getting back to that like community and like being social. And I'm always on my phone, but like like be like engaging and being like cooking and like come over to my house. Let's cook tonight.
Right.
Like I think that's really amazing, and I think a lot of people do that, but it's like. I think the younger generation maybe are losing it, or they're getting like food right now is crazy. Like the fact that a guy that does food is up here, like like 10 years ago, like who gave a shit about chefs?
Totally, 100%.
But it's like it's live.
Yeah. We have time for one more. Yeah.
Everybody else want to ask?
Hey.
Yeah, let's get it.
What's up?
What's good?
Okay.
All right.
I have two.
Okay, let's
All right.
2.
When did you get your first tattoo?
17.
Nice.
16. Ooh.
Okay. And what's the worst, most revolting thing you've ever tasted ever?
I think the balut egg. Shout out to all the Filipinos. The balut egg was kind of nasty. I like everything, but I just recently started liking okra. Pushed over that. It's not a big thing, but like I've kind of like I've.
Was it the texture, or was it? That's
yeah, like the cummy, the cummy.
Yeah.
It's cummy. It's cummy, smushy, cummy.
Again,
Good for
gay guys. I don't know.
good for some, bad for others. I got love for cum, but the I think the bullet egg was something that it was the first time I spat something out, and I felt so bad. I was with all these older like Filipino dudes, and a bullet egg is kind of like a half embryo, so it's like literally like a chicken with bones and a beak inside of an egg, and then it's almost like soft boiled, and then you like kind of suck on it, and maybe dip it in some vinegar and some salt. It's crunchy, and mine in the show I definitely spit it out, but I think mine was overcooked. And so the yolk was almost like a hard-boiled egg. And so when I ate it, it tasted like a fucking, like I say it tasted like a hot farm. Like you ever go to a farm and you're like, whoa, this is a wild farm. And then that was in my mouth. And then I was like, get this out of my mouth. And I was like, I'm so sorry. So I'm just spitting the fucking, oh, that was hectic. But it was like a cool, it was still cool. It was an experience. Like I'll try anything. I got garbage mouth.
And on that, I think we're done.
I've got garbage mouth.
Thank you to Matty the Garbage Mouth for dropping by. Make sure to check out his show. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Bye.